Good morning, my name is Katinka. I'm the seamstress at the cottage, and today we're going to talk about this blouse. On Pinterest, on TikTok, and everywhere else, you have been hearing about the gunny blouse. It's quite expensive, it's like $100 and something for a blouse, which I think is totally overpriced. So I decided I wanted one. And then accidentally, this top was cut out. It was a bit short, and so I saw that there was a lot of pieces left over, and I just used those pieces, pieced them all together, and made my top. And in the end, I am extremely happy with it. I used the Be Mine balloon sleeve top, and I just followed it, and it was shorter about this much. So if the waistline was over there, it was just underneath the waistline that I cut it out, and then I just added the frill. And for this part, I gave it a placket so that I can actually be safe and not show everybody everything. And then I just gave it some ties. So on the one side, it was just cut, folded over and sewn in that little tie. And then on the other side, the tie was between the top and the placket. And that's it. So you can basically take any top pattern that has an opening in the front, or you can make it, give it an opening in the front, cut it just below the waist, give it a frill, and you have a gunny dupe top. I'll now show you how I've made it. This Be Mine balloon sleeve top, I cut it out on this fabric, but I couldn't cut it out the full length, so it will be about just above the hip bone. So I'm looking at this. There's enough fabric, if I sew them all together, to actually make the little peplin at the bottom. And I'm just going to give it the plain neckline, and then have the ties, that green one. And I think that will work. So that way I can make this top that I've been dreaming about and obsessed about for the last while. This little top is going to have ties in the front and a little peplin frill at the bottom. It's the rage top that you see at the moment. I've used the balloon sleeve top pattern, and I didn't have enough fabric to make it long enough. So then I thought, well, there's already pieces left over, and I wanted the top with the ties in the front. So I'm just going to use this and make it work. I've overlapped the sides and the front, middle, center front, and I've cut some ties, but I had so little fabric left over that I couldn't cut the binding on the bias, but this fabric does stretch a little bit. So I am going to make the binding out of these little pieces, and then there's a longer piece for the tie in the front, and then these are my other two ties that will go on there. Some days is easier to sew than others, and today I'm not having such an easy day. This is an easy top. But it's like my brain just can't comprehend how to put it all together. And that's the reality sometimes of sewing. It could also be that it's very early in the morning. But you know, I'm under a deadline. I need to finish this wardrobe. And I keep on giving my things away. I need to stop. Anyway. So now I am going to put the ties on. There's the tie binding that's going around the neck, and then you just tie it there. And then in the middle, I'm giving it a tie, and then over here. And on the one side, it will just be folded back, but on the other side, I will have this piece to cover up everything that I don't want to show to the world. sewing going down the left hand facing now, and I'm using my stripe as my guide. Then I'm going to do another top stitching over there. And now is the part that I'm actually dreading. I was not able to cut my binding on the bias. And this needs to go around the neck. So I think what I want to do is I'm going to stretch it a little bit as I go, and then give it knips afterwards so it will fold in properly. Let's see what happens. It worked. It's a little wobbly, but I think I can press it flat properly. And the seams are in. I love the little ties. I had to make them shorter. I still have to do the edges or the ends of the ties. And then there's my cuff band. So this cuff still needs to be added onto the sleeve. And now I can do the frill. I'm busy with it over here. I've just added all the leftover fabric that I could find to make it a bit longer, because I would like a double width, and it's almost there. And I need to overlock that, and then I can gather it and add it to the top. I did the hem before I do the gathering onto the top, because it's easier doing it like this. I have pinned the frill to the top, and I'm now going to sew it down. And I always sew on the smooth side, because your feeding dog at the bottom, that's that little teeth there, it moves the pleats smoothly, and then you don't have where your pleats all end up at one place in a bunch. And then I'm going to overlock the seam, and then I can do the binding for the sleeve. It's done.